Looks like we're live. Hey everybody, welcome to One Piece 1150. Okay, halfway to 1200. Something we won't reach for at least 2 years. But anyway, we're here.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Make sure to hit the like button so everybody knows that we're streaming. Before we get started, how's everybody feel about Chopper? I was there yesterday at Tadum for the announcement. I had already seen the spot multiple times before yesterday, but it's exciting. And then at Tadum, they gave these T-shirts away. This is live action Chopper. Showing it over. Yeah, it was a super cool event. You know, they really they went above and beyond for it. They had a little like pop-up area near the red carpet that had like a recreation of the Merry Head. So that was cool. Chrissy was there with me as well, and she loved it. Mars loves it too. Showed him afterwards. He wanted to like immediately watch it again. Barry said the music they played while he was dancing, I was losing it. Yeah, I mean, it was a rendition of Boku wa Doctor, 2020 Chopper. You know. Looks like YouTube's doing some sort of new experience system. Like, the more you type in chat, there's a leaderboard now. I don't know. I didn't turn this on. This is something that, like, it just seems that they're doing. Alright, so everybody fight for first place. Whoops, I'm muted. Sorry. Let's see, what did I point out? Sorry about the mute. Barry said that she saw Megan's reaction and cried with her. That was one of the first ones that popped in my YouTube feed, so I did watch their reaction, and Megan's reaction was amazing. And then, I don't know if I was muted for this, but yes, I do have the postedum sore throat. I was just reading a bunch of reactions. Leah's happy that did my boy justice. And Maxo said his expression leading up to the dance was so good. Happiness and anxiety. I mean, hey, you know, gotta hit all the chopperisms, you know, and it took a long time to find Michaela, and she's doing amazing, and she passed the OTA test, so you know, that's Drew Beat said, "It's been a minute. Tell me you have a new theory." There's always new theories. I mean, I throw them out here. I am working on a new video. It's like more of an analysis video for most of it, with a theory at the end based on the analysis. So that should come in the next couple of weeks. Hey Kip. Shout out to Uzunkivi for joining.
Another one.
Jody Lissa, Chopper looks and most importantly sounds great. Yep. All right. I look tired. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always tired. Alright? I'm a dad. Alright, let's get into this chapter. Chapter 1150, Domi Reversi. Okay. So before we actually jump into this, let's see. What do I want from this chapter? I would love to see what's happening in the Holy Land. Like, you can't just tell me that the Holy Land's on fire and then not show me, like, at least a page of the Holy Land. Knowing Oda, there's, like, it's like 90-10. 90% we're not going to see it. 10% like, oh, okay. So if I had to make a bet, we're not going to see it. He's going to hold on to it. But it's what I want. What's the most likely thing? We ended on the, you know, the panel of this whole, like, emu thing. Like, I don't know if we're going to get any more information on this Brook business being connected to Gunko. But if you were here last week, just to recap real quick, I do not think that Gunko is Brook's daughter. I think that those flashbacks were out of order. And this is all stuff I said last week, that I think that based on what we know about Brook, that he was, you know, the vizier for a country and all of that. Like, I feel like he was the Igaram for some country in the West Blue, and Gunko was like the Vivi. So he had like an Igaram Vivi situation where Gunko looked up to Brook like an uncle, like a surrogate father, but not really like a dad. And then when he left to like go after his own dreams and be a pirate, that island got attacked, and then she probably blames Brooke for not being there to protect them, something like that. Like, I feel like that's enough juice to get some drama out of the story. I don't expect anything like that to get revealed for a while, but especially with Imu potentially possessing Gunko, what I think is most likely is Oda's going to show us Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Loki this week, because we haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, a couple of chapters, so we need to sort of reset that, plus Scopper just fell off, and I think it's more important for the story to, like, kind of follow that through, because that's, like, an immediate thing. Normally when someone falls over something, Oda at least lets that person land somewhere the following chapter, and doesn't have them, like, magically flying in the air for 2 or 3 chapters. Alright, so I'm on the first page here. Ogre Child, Yamato, Golden Harvest, Surrogate, Pilgrimage, Volume 34, Enma Shrine, and Hakamai. Yasui's sword is enshrined, and the pilgrimage is complete. Huh. Okay. And Ulti and Pepe have been following her around. Are we saying that Ulti is a swordswoman now? Okay. Here we go. Page 2. We're starting the week off with a double page. All right. So what do we got here? The children. Oh, thank goodness they're safe. Mr. from the bar. Daddy fell down into the underworld. What Mr. Ya did? It was that lady. Watch out for her. Daddy, Mama. She's floating. Poor kids must have been so scared. Come, let's... huh? What? What was that? Why does Gunko seem normal? Well, the eyes are different, I guess. We got the double-ringed eyes. Silence. Okay, we got some big hockey drip here, potentially. Oh, yep. Definitely hockey. Everybody's getting knocked out. Even the kids. Okay. Next page. Another... Oh, is this going to be a quick chapter? Everything's double pages? Okay. Whoa. Hey, snap out of it. Gunko's got bat wings and has got the mark of the abyss creating something. Now has a spear. Are we like drawing the mark in the air and then is like a cannon coming out of it? All resistance must be quashed. Is this the best thy sleep-tids can do, Killingham? This is a panel. Might have to do some ADR on the video I was making. Whew. I'm just taking this in. I'm just taking this in. We've got demonic wings, a very devilish tail, which has been implied because that's what Cobra and Sabo got stabbed with. And then this Poseidon-like spear, which also is, you know, any sort of Halloween devil costume usually comes with a spear like that as well. You know, it's pitchfork. The nightmare holes remain open. They continue to spawn monsters from every nightmare found on the island. These are creatures from dreams with no concept of death. They can be revived at any time on my command. Good. You know, let's not, I don't want to feel like these things are easy to beat at any given time. Alright. So, page 5. Lead the line of whelp summers. So the translations are going out of their way to like give emu their own style of speech that feels like old-timey. You know, we know that emu is at least 800 or 900 years old, so they would speak in a slightly different dialect. Which is a good thing for Oda to do. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if Saeed's here to confirm, like, if the actual Japanese has, like, a really old-timey way of speaking. But, like, even if you go to ye old English and all of that, like, you start going... If you went back in time to 1400s, 1500s, like, it would be very hard to have a conversation with somebody, even if they were speaking English, because just the words change so much over the centuries. So, let's see. Is that the same woman up in the air? She seems different from before. Where is Luffy's group now? Well, Luffy and Zoro and Sanji aren't here. Pyrodin's bunch as well. It's just our luck that they'd all be down in the underworld far below. What are you doing, Robin? I have to help. I can't just sit here captured. See, I like this. The question now is with whom we will parley, using these whelps as bait. Summers is starting to regen. Absolutely right, oh great one, it makes no sense. A kingdom without a king? Stupid Gabon, my body's in agony. Shout out to DK, member for 29 months. Emil said Robin's the most motivated one. She's given a Big D energy here. Nico D. Robin. Why do those of you with the name D fight? It's a hopeless situation, and she's the only one fighting. Dory the Blue Ogre. Brogy the Red Ogre. I charge thee with dominance over this land. Thou wilt be kings. Are you with the Holy Knights? You're the one who's driven Elbaf to madness? This isn't gonna go well for Brogy. Go on ahead, Dory. Join him, boys. Sure thing, Captain. Take care of yourself, Brogy. Now give back the children. How many of you are there? Understand this, Brogy. Thou wilt meet with Beard Hill Ja Rule. Cut off his head and hold it aloft. Then announce to thy people that we are the kings of Elbaf. What am I reading, guys? Mr. Nine said parlay question mark? Pirate terminology? A parlay is like a truce. You know, setting up some sort of an exchange. So what they're basically saying in that part is like, it doesn't matter if we don't have the kids, like, no one rules over this land. Who are we even going to talk to like make this work? So that's why Emu's going out of their way to like flex and be like, you two are going to be the kings. You know, I need someone that can actually that I can hold a conversation with here about all of this. Yeah, a meeting between adversaries, an additional bet on top of a bet. Neon Rogers, right there. So, next page here. Never, this is our country, you can't tell us what to do. Then there's a gun that comes out of nowhere. A knife. But it will not be for nothing. Oh, someone just joined the No Hand Club. Wow. Now this is the kind of like menace that I expect. We've got the big bad here. Wow. Yikes. You just wait until it grows back. You guys remember when TN said that in the Ocean dub? But Emo saying, I give thee the power of evil, like... It really feels like Emo's trying to convert Brogy here. Let's see. Ah, the captain's arm. Grr, what happened, Captain? I don't believe it. She took off his mighty arm. This is intense, guys. She'll pay dearly for this. In exchange for some measure of thy lifespan, thou wilt receive an undying body, canny strength, under fealty to Mu, thou art unbound by common sense and logic. Demons are the only proper form for life to take. Diabolical covenant. Did she say demons? What is she doing? This is crazy. And I'm mad at how much this ties into the video that I was making. Which was mostly about, like, well, I mean, it's still gonna come out. Like, it's the demonic things that we see in One Piece and light versus darkness. And now we're just getting that on display here. Okay. Next page. Oh wow. Brogy is falling into this thing. Technically that would mean that Brogy is dying here, because if this is what's happening here, like, Emu is technically has to kill Brogy in order to bring them back. And then, I hate to say it, but that would be another one. If that's what happens. Because I did say death flags for Brogy. Whew. Anyway. I wasn't expecting this. Alright. Dami Reversi. This man is spinning around, turning into a shadow. Fangs? Oh, whoa. Ew. He turned into a demon. He's huge. What happened to you, Captain Brogy? And his arm is coming back. It is the TN joke. You just wait until it grows back. Became a Heartless. It is Kingdom Hearts vibes, right? He looks terrifying. Is he a real demon now? Give back the captain. We know. The real Captain Brogy has never once tried to attack his own crew. He's got a warrior's pride. Oh, this is gonna go hard when we get like Usopp's reaction to this. Ba 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 ba. I feel all powerful. Nothing can stop me now. Oh, this is crazy. You got Dory too? Oh boy. Yig. Come along, boys. It's time to kill Ja Rule. Damn. They're taking it to the streets. No, Captain Dory, stop. You have to wake up. What about saving the kids? If you actually do that, our country is doomed. Help us stop them. Captains. What? Not you guys, too. Was it because they were standing between the two of them? It can't be. Just keep your distance. Damn. See, now this is where Oda like cooks, right? Because we could have sat here and thought about every possible person that Luffy and the crew are going to fight in Elbaf, and never would I have ever said, oh, Luffy and the crew are going to have to fight Dory and Brogy, you know? Because this is basically like, this is what's gonna happen. Like, Imu just turned them evil. They're super powered, and Luffy's gonna have to fight one or both of these. And the crazy thing about it too is that Luffy has already technically fought Dory, so it would be a rematch, but on a high level, right? And this goes into like the, you know, just like dark mirrors and things like that, where, you know, now Luffy is the symbol of light, and here is basically pure darkness. Man, this is insane. But the crazy thing about it is that is it, you know, and we were talking about this last week, and, you know, in many different occasions, that like the crew has been embracing darkness and demonic energy, like King of Hell, Chill of the Underworld, Monster Chopper, Diablo Jambé, Ifrit Jambé, and it's like, what if something like this happens to somebody on the crew? And the thing is that Jinbei, Frankie, and Usopp, technically Usopp has said that he was the Demon King of Hell at one point, but more so Frankie and Jinbei have never embraced like any sort of demonic thing. Like they've never, I don't, especially Frankie, I've never seen him say something like, oh, I'm, you know, nothing to the, like, I'm the King of Hell, Demonio Floor, all of that. So if Imu was to get anybody on the crew, it would probably make sense if it was someone like Frankie or Jinbei. I'm sure if I went through the story again and like saw some sort of Jinbei line, like maybe I'd find something there. But particularly Frankie would be wild. I don't want it to happen. Oh, Demon Brickfist, yeah, that kind of counts, yeah. But like, I've never seen a demon attack from Frankie, so it's kind of like the Sanji thing in Alabasta, where Baroque Works never knew who he was, so he was able to save everybody. Like, I feel like Oda may have deliberately never given Frankie that moment to get us to that point here. So I'm worried for him right now. I need to finish reading though. Wheezy Bird said French Twitter said Oda jumped the shark with demons. I mean, I feel like this is I feel like he's been setting this up for a long time though. I don't know. I haven't finished the chapter yet, so I don't know I don't know how far this goes though. Swoop thump thump. What? Not you guys too. Keep your distance. Okay. Got a double pager coming up here. Wow. Not bad. So this is the power of Elbaf. So who did they get? Is that Stanson? I feel like Stanson wasn't Stanson down with them below? Do we know the names of these other guys? Because I don't see Oimo or Kashi. Like, obviously I can see Dorian Brogy, right? But so with this power, they became even bigger? Because, I mean, there's giants running, and it looks like they've gotten even taller. Oh, this double page is the end of the chapter. Damn. It will not be destroyed, but preserved and ruled over. Perhaps it's time to stay and watch, to see how useful they will be in war. Please, Chief Ja Rule, you must flee. Something's wrong with the Captains Dory and Brogy. Run for your life. Never tell a warrior to run from battle. Man. Alright, now we finish the chapter. Thought I had more, but it was just another 2 pages. Whew. Mario Mushroom power up. Yep. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Ja Rule is aura farming with that last panel. Yeah, you're not gonna make me like Ja Rule, Oda. Like, I don't care that man is gonna get it. He's sus to begin with, and then it's like now you're gonna try and make him like have this heroic death. I don't know. But I do feel like this had to have happened to Harold, though. But then the other thing, too, is like, if that happened to Harold 6 or so years ago, why would you wait to do it again? Like, it didn't work. What are you just like, oh, okay, I don't care about Elbaf anymore. And then suddenly, you know what? Let's do this thing again. But let's not be subtle about it. Dizza said, yet another festival that Ja Rule ruined. He can't stop. He can't stop. Oh, man. I don't know. Ja Rule wants everybody to know he's real, but everybody's getting remixed. Let's see. Saeed corrected me 14 years ago. Everything with Harold happened. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, because it all happened concurrently as the Nika fruit was getting lost. So yeah, it was a bit longer ago. Um, Zakame said Emu needs a King of the Realm island to start a Devil's Contract. I mean, that checks out. Matt B said Oda's been setting up the spiritual world and underworld side of the story from the beginning. I agree. Certainly as far back as Brook landing in a circle. But there's always been references to this kind of stuff. And, you can see the circles clearly in 233 with the panel with the 5 elders and all that. So there's some stuff going on here. Maxo, super appreciate you, Maxo, said, my tiny little theory is that Brook's gonna hard counter Domi Reversi, and we're gonna see Gunko make the Enel face. I need that. Like, Brook is such an interesting element and character that it is completely underutilized in the story. So it's like, let this be his moment. Give him the thing that's going to help them. Like, it's probably a thing where, like, in order to become this thing, like, you have to be able to be killed. But Brook has already died. So you can't even do step 1 with him. Lydia Raven, member for 20 months. Member chat had said, Luffy versus Emu, Zoro versus Killingham, Sanji versus Summers, Usopp, Oimo, and Kashi versus Dory and Brogy. Robin will get involved in one of those. I predict everyone on our side loses, including Luffy. Time skip incoming. I mean, I've been pushing for the idea of a time skip for a long time. We need it. And I think Chopper's realization that, Scopper, knows how to fight these guys and they don't, is just proof that, we need some sort of a training arc. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It doesn't need to be another 2 years, but, everybody's got to level up. Very motivated, member for 48 months, said, honestly, as far back as chapter 1, with the concept of devil fruits. Please, people are silly. Exactly. It's, they are the fruits of the devil. Jody listed, this is Ragnarok. Pretty much. Especially if the tree starts burning. Saeed said you can change the reading direction to horizontal on Manga Plus. Yeah, I know, but I feel like I end up when I used to read everything on Viz horizontally, it was really hard to not see what was on the next page, So I like reading it vertically, and then I just have Viz up in a different window so that when it goes double page, I can go and look at it after I've already seen the page on the right. And another thing too is when I read it horizontally, I start zooming in so that I'm not seeing other things, and I end up sometimes missing lines of dialogue. So it's just easier for me to get everything doing it this way now, even if it might be confusing for you guys. But it's helps me not spoil myself while reading. This is reading everybody go off on the French Twitter thing. I'm just catching up on chat. Cone Killer said, "I bet they'll have red and blue skin now too." Oh, that would actually be, that would be cool. I like that. Something different. Dr. JR said, "I love live action Chopper." You know it. Brandon said Emu uses Domi Reversi on Usopp, but it doesn't work because Usopp can't become someone who doesn't fear death. He fears death intrinsically because he is already too negative. Like, that works as like such a silly gag in the Perona fight. For it to really matter here would be like game breaking, story breaking. At that point, you might as well tell me that he has Conqueror's Hockey. Like it would actually, I would rather it be a thing where it was like, that's how we know Usopp has Conquerors, because he stands up to Emu. Like, I don't think you could visually show me that Usopp is a brave warrior of the sea if there's no better way than him standing up to Emu and you know, not getting turned or something because of his will. So I think it would have to play more into like that aspect of it rather than like he's too negative. Like, we can make jokes about it and everything, but it has to be grounded in the like the power source of the show. Volkazar said, "Randy, just going to mention it here again now that the chapter is done. Chapter 150 was the first intro to the Giants. 115, I think you mean. 150 is like the end of Drum, I think. I know what you mean though. And now 1150 has them reintroduced to the evil side. So yeah, so there's some math piece there, right? We're on Little Garden. We meet Dorian Brogy in chapter 115, and then in chapter 115 with a 0 at the end, 1150, they've died and have been reborn as demons. And I hope that this sticks too. As sad as it is to say, if you can reverse what Emu has done here, you know, like if it's just, hey, you know, we knocked out Sugar and then everybody, you know, stopped being a toy. Like if you can beat Emu and then everybody stops being demons, I think it would lower the stakes. But this is One Piece, so it probably would happen. But I would actually, I'd prefer, it's sad as it is, like I would prefer this is it for them. Crush Not, member for 6 months, said, "Late again. I'll catch the VOD later. Just wanted to say hello and take care." Appreciate you, Crush. Shout out to Vasil Vladivanovici. Appreciate the super. Said, "Tinfoil. Emu corrupted the first Nika user, turned him into a god of destruction. Yami Yami. Maybe. The Buccaneers kept dreaming of the real Nika and brought the real devil fruit back into existence." Now that's a good take, because it's like you have the people that have a reverence for Nika, but then you have people that fear Nika, right? So I think you're right on the money there. I don't think it's tinfoil at all. I think it's been established that there have been 2 Nikas, and if there have been, then it stands to reason that Nika got corrupted, and then that's how we got to this point. At that, but then you have to ask, like, what happened to the original Nika? Because if they're undying and everything like that, they would still be around technically. I think you're on the money, though. I think that's what we're gonna end up seeing. But then it's like, is there a way? But that also, like, now that you're making me think about this, Vasile, it's like Joy Boy's apology suddenly makes me wonder that if there is a way to reverse this, right? So imagine you had Nika in the past. They lost. They got Domi reversied. Started terrorizing the world. A resistance forms or something, right? Let's make it interesting. Lily, other various people or whatever, try and come up with some sort of a way to get Joy Boy back. Or Nika, whatever it is. And they managed to do it. He becomes conscious of the actions they made. That gives us a reason for him to apologize. But maybe the reversal process also, like, well, here we go, right? In exchange for your lifespan, right? So what if they brought Joy Boy back, but the lifespan was already gone? So Joy Boy wasn't able to complete the task. And then they died because they didn't have their lifespan anymore. So we may be able to bring Dory and Brogy back, but it won't matter because their lifespan has been removed. We need stakes, and Dory and Brogy die. It's something interesting for the story. It'll motivate Usopp and Luffy. Let's see. Uzun said, why does it seem like Oda avoids powering up anybody but the monster trio? If he wanted to, he'd do it gradually. Only Robin's gotten stronger. The rest stay the same. Zeus doesn't make Nami feel strong either. I disagree. I agree that everybody needs power-ups, but Robin, got Demonia Floor, which seems like a power-up, but it's only ever happened once, so I need more. Everybody's gotten like subtle power-ups. Like obviously Chopper being able to control Monster Point is a power-up. Usopp getting Haki is a power-up. Frankie getting Frankie Shogun is a power-up. Nami getting Zeus is a power-up. It's like it's a way of giving her Devil Fruit power without giving her a Devil Fruit. And it's just They need hockey. So that's the thing that's going to really make the difference. DK said, "Oh, is that official merch?" Yeah, this shirt was. We got these at Tadum. They were giving them out. Shout out to AD Wolf. W's in the chat.
I'm about to make a name for myself here.
They said, do you think the arc will end with 50 chapters? If more, what will make it long? I think Luffy will do something that cancels the circle, or this will always be a threat. Then training with Gabon and Loki flashback and Heaven World lore. Oda has, I think 50 chapters like isn't a bad theory, right? Because you know, Dressrosa started at chapter 700, ended chapter 800. And Wano was also like 100 chapters. Like we know that Oda does try to like do this, and clearly gave us a massive moment here at the halfway point. Do I think we have 50 chapters worth of content for Elbaf? I don't know. Maybe. But there's a lot of things that are like trying to push us elsewhere. I do want training with Gabon, and I hope that happens in like some sort of a time skip thing, like 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. Like if they can get crushed here, but then Gabon trains them up, and then we go into this final thing like overpowered, super powered, like, you know, let's go all out. I'm okay with that. We do need the Loki flashback. It does seem appropriate for us to get some sort of a Brook flashback now. So I think that the Loki flashback will also be an introduction to Zebek. As has already been teased, but then it's like it'll lay the groundwork for Zebek as a character, so that we don't have to worry about who he is and what his motivations are or anything when we're trying to tell the God Valley story eventually. So I think it's like the Loki flashback will be a backdoor Zebek flashback, because Zebek will be the Shanks, the Hero Look, the Saul, Clover, the Yorkie, you know, like the other person in the flashback that is like very important to the person that the flashback is about. But Luffy having some sort of ability that cancels everything, I do like that. Because it's like, if all of this demonic energy or something is, let's say, the power and like harnessing the power of the moon, but if Luffy is the sun and all of the light on the moon is reflected sunlight, then Luffy would hard counter all of it. But I think there's elements of the Nika fruit and Luffy's power that Luffy hasn't been able to rightfully explore yet, at least consciously. Because the other thing too is that, like, even we're seeing it in this chapter, Gunko is doing things that seem similar to things that we've seen Luffy do recently. Like materializing things out of nowhere. Where did the pitchfork come from? Where did the book come from? Like, they just came out of thin air. Where did Luffy's goggles come from? Where did that bat and helmet come from? So I think there's a tie here where while Luffy's doing the goofy side of it, there needs to be some sort of explanation for this, and we'll learn that it's essentially the same thing, but just two different ways of doing it. Brandon said, would Dummy Reversey work on Luffy making Nightmare Luffy 2.0? I mean, a Dummy Reversey, like, Luffy that would be Nightmare 2.0 kind of goes hard. Gear Reversey, Vinaries, that's funny. Alejandro Salas supered and said, do you think that Reversey will play a pivotal role in the final war where we have to fight our friends? That way we don't have all the characters on Luffy's side. Man. One thing I could see Oda doing is like like Bellamy shows up, right? And then Bellamy is like, he's basically got, a straw hat on his chest at this point. Like, he's riding for Luffy. He's got the flags, everything like that. Does a sacrifice play. Saves Luffy's life. Gets Domi reversed. We get Luffy versus Bellamy round 3. But this time it's not ending in one punch. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I feel would that could go crazy. I think you're onto something there. I think there's a lot of characters that could end up like that. But at that point, then I think we need a way to reverse Domi Reversey. Like, and that's, I would love for it if it's a permanent thing. I at this point, I don't think it's going to be. But the lifespan thing, that's permanent. Maxo Supered said, I don't think we're going to see a quick Gear 5 fix for this, or we would have seen it in Egghead. I agree with you there. But I do think that Luffy, it's not going to be quick, because we had Egghead, but it's like, Luffy's going to figure something out. And then it's like, oh wait, I can do this, and it works. Very motivated super and said, are you familiar with the game Othello? The way the giants caught between them. The way the giants caught between them changed is very similar to how you change the pieces on the board. Could 2 white pieces, Luffy and Bonnie, change them back? I am not familiar with the game, but I get the gist of what you're saying. I do like the idea of Luffy and Bonnie having her own, Gear 5 form. Works to you know what this makes me feel even more, right? People hated this idea when I brought it up, but like, now's the time for everybody to get their own like Gear 5 form. Right? Luffy needs to do his own version of Domi Reversey and give everybody Gear 5 powers, right? So then it's like, it's really the angels versus the demons. And this crew that has been like embracing this demonic stuff, King of Hell, all the Demonio Floor and all that, are gonna have to start embracing a light side if they want to counter this demonic energy. Like, they're feeding too much into the enemy's MO. And I think that the only way for us to beat this is for them to actually like look within and pull out a the goodness inside of them, and not get bogged down into the darkness. Like it's kind of like they're all getting tempted by the symbiote, you know, and Luffy's got to kind of show up and be like, no guys, like let's red suit or iron spider these guys, like forget the symbiote, or here's a white symbiote. I don't know. Emil Superden said, I think that Reversi, Zoro, and Sanji might be fun. It could be. You know what the crazy thing is, and I'm sure people have already talked about this, but I just thought about this now too, is that Demonio Floor looks exactly like this, right? So it's like, what? I just, like, I really feel like it's gonna be a thing where Robin's fruit is gonna be like the Hito Hito no Mi model something or whatever, and because that's just crazy with the fangs too. Like, I just thought about it from that perspective, but it's like she literally said, like, no, I'm going to embrace my own, like, I've been called a demon my whole life, like, all right, here we go. Looks like Stussy too, yeah. Yeah, Roger said Iron Spider. I liked you reference with AJ Peace. Did I bring up Iron Spider in the AJ Theory for Theory? That's such a pull. I don't even remember what I would have said to bring that up. You want to call me a demon child? I'll be a demon for you. Libertas Reversi, Freedom Flip. Yeah, I like that. But, you know, it's like the other thing about it too is like there is a big tie to all of this with the Blackbeard Pirates as well, which I'm going to talk more about in the video that's going to come out. But it's like they are darkness, right? But they embrace the light, which is like the counter argument. Like, by believing in a higher power and fate and all of this, like, they have this holy vibe to them. You know, Blackbeard's attack is liberation, like, but it's darkness. So it's just there's layers on layers of things being here. Emil Superden said, does Reversi revert you to an older evolutionary form, giants to ancient giants? Would a Skypian turn into a Lunarian? Would a human change? That's interesting. I mean, like, I do want to understand why Dory and Brogy are so much taller. If what is supposed to happen if Loki gets reversied, right? How much taller can he get? Like, I mean, at that point, you know, like, Loki would become the big bad because he's just so massive, right? Justin Tejada brought something up, and I wanted to go and reread the Harley text to see, like, how this, like, seeing this, like, how we could, like, kind of reinterpret some things here. Justin said, it's said in the Harley text that the forest god tamed demons and the sun spread the fires of war. So I think that could go into what Vasile was talking about earlier, which I definitely agree with, that Nika or Joy Boy, someone with the, you know, the sun god fruit, got reversied and started destroying parts of the world. But the forest god, taming the demons, you know, who is our forest god? Because then that seems to be, that could be the key here, right? What if, because I was just talking about it, what if Robin is the forest god? The flower fruit? I've never talked about this before. This is brand new. Every blooms things like flowers, parts of the body. I don't know. I might trademark that. Robin for forest god. The demon child taming the demons. That's character growth. That puts Robin on another level there. Has anybody ever talked about that? Volkazard said Barto gets turned from superfan to worst enemy. I mean, that would be pretty good. I could see that. And I saw it, I lost it, but oh, Jody List said Barto might be dead. I don't think Barto's dead. I want Barto to be to have gotten arrested and be in Impel Down and be part of the breakout for Impel Down 2.0. That'll get us you know, Dofi on Cross Guild and all that kind of stuff. Lucky98, member for 10 months, said, I love how Luffy's innate ability to recruit and befriend allies is inverted here with Emu forcibly turning them. Great analysis. You know, it's Luffy's magnanimous nature that draws people in, and, you know, like, just makes someone, like, just his energy makes them want to help him. And then here is Emu saying, you're gonna be the king and you're gonna do my bidding. Here you go. That's it. You don't get a choice. That's good. Big Stinky said, so basically Blackbeard's a goth kid. Yeah. The goth kid that goes to Sunday school. That went to Sunday school and goes to church every Sunday. So it's like they have all the, you know, the gothic outlook and all that kind of stuff, but they're still all about liberation, freedom, God, holiness. Gary Blowwood said Chopper's the forest god. See, I've heard people talk about Chopper being the forest god, but like Chopper, we need a model. I've said this for years. Like, what is Chopper's model? Like, you can't just be human without a model type. So, and then now with Luffy being a human model blank, like Chopper needs one. But I'm standing firm. I'm standing on business now that Robin is gonna be the forest god. Brandon said forest god is Robin, Chopper is the rain god, as in reindeer. That I could see. See, that I'd buy, because that's a pun, and Oda loves his puns. Rook's the earth god because bodies return to the earth when they die. Ooh, so all of the 4 gods are on the crew? I mean, that's such perfect symmetry that it's like, I think that's what it is. That's got to be it now. Because why would you wait 800 years unless you needed these people to come together at the right moment? Like, it's all preordained, it's fate. These people got together. You have the sun, the forest, the rain, and the earth right here. That's it. The whole crew are the gods. As I said, would you rather Dofi or Law on Cross Guild? Don't think I could see them working together. It's tough. It's tough because it's like I still can't crack why Law would still be in the story. Would love him being Sword. That hasn't been debunked yet, but we'll see. But I think that Oda is trying to do a thing where, like, the 5 warlords that were at Roger's execution will team up and create a super group. It's the Legion of Doom. So Moria will be there, Dofi will be there. I don't know how the Dofi dynamic fits into Cross Guild. I feel like it's forced. But I'm also like willing to overlook it because it's just a really cool idea to have the warlords all together. What happens to Hancock? I don't know. Jinbei's already with the Straw Hats, so see that. As far as Law is concerned, like, I like the idea of him linking up with Cross Guild, just because it was really funny how he was like really enamored by Buggy and thinking that he must be really formidable to become an emperor, and Luffy just being like, it's Buggy, come on, man. And I've always wanted Buggy and Law to like use their powers against each other. And like Buggy just hard counters Law. It's like, oh man, this guy is formidable. Axel Knee 98 said, Randy, would Domi even work on Zoro because he overcame the Shinigami? I don't know. Like, I'm worried that it would work too well on so many of the Straw Hats because they've already embraced darkness. Like, it'd be crazy if, like, it happens to Robin, but it just turns her into Demonio Floor. And it's like, we've already seen this, you know? Catching up. Shout out to Spencer for the super, said Emu is the reverse seed Nika ? I thought about that, but then I'm just like, I almost brought that up and then I stopped myself because I was like, okay, but then who is the person that reverse seed them, right? And then I stopped myself. I was like, I'm not even gonna bring this up because it doesn't make any sense. Who turned them in the first place? Or is that the thing? Like, they just embraced darkness and became this thing. It's about power corruption. Being corrupted by power. I don't know. Barry sent a picture of Othello, said it's the same game that Trooper Scarfino was using to calculate the odds in Onigashima. So go. Whenever you trap pieces between two pieces of your color, you are allowed to flip everything between those two pieces. It's a game available on Clubhouse 51 Games and Nintendo Switch. Roger's familiar with it and was talking about it in his stream this morning. May be able to explain it more clearly than I can. No, I mean, I get it. And it's obviously a very, like, popular motif in a lot of anime and manga. Hell, I mean, it's even in the first season of the live action. So Oda could be doing a meta reference to the idea of flipping pieces in Go and Othello. So yeah. Alejandro Salas said, I kind of want Sanji to turn so Zoro can try to fulfill his promise from Wano. That's crazy. If I lose myself, kill me. That's something. Hey, I mean, that could happen. What's sad about that too is that, like, Sanji is, like, for all intents and purposes, like, he is, like, kind of the heart of the crew. Like when I think of Sanji, like, he's like the glue, because he's like the nicest guy. Aside from, you know, the stuff that Oda forces into the story with him, but he's the warmest member. It's the cook, you know? Everything is, you know, is about other people. Math, Dark Vampire said maybe Reversi is not the same as Mark of the Abyss because the giants entered a frenzied state when they flip. The Gods Knights don't do that, and neither do the Gorosei. Agreed. I don't think that it is exactly the same, but also it may be a thing where it's like the longer you've been Reversied, the more sort of control you get, and it's like once you're turned, like you're in a frenzied state. You see that in like vampire movies and projects as well. Like when a vampire gets turned, like they go on a frenzy and want, you know, immediately want blood, and then like later on, like they've calmed down and sort of like come into this this new sense of life. And I think that there's probably a lot of correlations here to vampires and getting turned, and you know, like that kind of idea. Like, you, for all intents and purposes, you're dead. So yeah. You know what this just made me think of, though? And I'm mad that I'm thinking about this now. Cobra's probably not dead. probably going to get to the Holy Land, and we're gonna have to fight a vamped up Cobra. Somehow Cobra returned. Yeah. Demon Cobra sounds so cool to Alejandro. Nah, I don't know, I feel like that's a step too far for me, but I think that's gonna happen. Could you imagine? Well, I guess it's been publicized. So I was going to say something, but then I just talked myself out of it. But it's like Cobra returns to Alabasta, sits on the throne, and is like exactly like what Alabasta never was trying to fight during the Alabasta saga. Like he comes in, he starts taking the reign, he starts like he starts being exactly what Crocodile painted him out to be because he's been reversied. But not he was in the papers as assassinated. But I could still buy that Emu like has him reversied but locked in a cage or something, and then like just unleashes him on Luffy and Vivi and some of the others like when they're there. I don't know. Emil said, could Magellan be reversed? I mean, like actually, like now already, like when we fought Magellan, they were reversed. I mean, that would explain the wings and like fangs and all that. I don't think so. It would be cool. It would make some things make a little more sense. No one was able to beat them, right? But I think that like the cover story gags that we saw later on like kind of neutered Magellan, and I don't know if we'd want to neuter these types of individuals. Barry said, but to what end? They already reported his assassination. I would think the people of Alabasta would be more suspicious about after everything that happened to him. Yeah, I was saying it, but I had already talked myself out of it. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's just it was basically the worst case scenario of what I was worried about. Like what could happen if Cobra was still alive. Like I don't want it. Like I don't want it. I don't want any of that. Big Stinky said Vivi's also not the queen of Alabasta. The contract with Cobra means that Emu is Alabasta now. That makes sense. That makes sense. So if it's like I need to turn Cobra and then I'm going to take Alabasta, and then we just see maybe like a regent of the government like with the poneglyph underneath and all that. That could be it. If it ties into what we're seeing here with what needed to happen with Elbaf. So Saeed said that Imu and Gunko's diabolical covenant move is written as a devil contract in kanji. The first possible meaning is a coral, a large, intelligent, black cat-like animal from Black Destroyer, a science fiction story by Canadian-American writer A. Van Voigt. It's been marked as the story that represents the start of the golden age of science fiction. Second possible meaning is wordplay. If you remove the elongation. Huh. I'm just reading up on this link that Saeed put in the chat. It looks very vampiric also, even though it's described as like a tentacled black cat-like animal. Like the image of it looks like a vampire. Neon Rogers said, Randy, if Harold was corrupted by Emu, 1137 has a panel of Harold looking monstrous after his portrait panel. Want to look at that. Heading to 1137 to see that. Then after this, I'm going to take another look at the chapter quick, and then we'll probably start winding down and wrapping up. So I see this moment that you're talking about, Neon, but I think that this isn't actually Harold, because Harold ripped out his horns by that point, unless getting the reverse seed gave him his horns back. I think that this is a flashback image to an ancient Oni, right, that may have also been reverse seed, and it's like that's why the ancient Onis were feared and revered, because they were controlled. But there is also precedence for this, because now that I'm looking at this, you know, the end panel here, like Brogy and some of these other guys also were given horns. Interestingly enough, Dory does not have horns, but everybody else does. And I wonder what the reasoning for that is. I mean, Dory's helmet never had horns and Brogy's did, but like the horns changed to where it could conceivably be like actual horns and not just the helmets themselves. Let's see. All right. So the parents show up. The parents and the kids get knocked out. Gunko takes like a hybrid emu form with bat wings, a pitchfork, and a devil tail. One of my favorite parts of this chapter is Robin, like, hurting herself to get out of the thorns. I appreciate that she didn't stop fighting, which also shows that either she's a D or she's been learning things from Luffy. I get the impression that we actually will see these guys kill Ja Rule. Or maybe that's the thing that we have to stop. Like, I don't know. But I don't care either way. The scene of Brogy losing his hand is like is wild. Like, even if he gets turned back, right? Like, he's not going to have a left hand anymore. Like, I would imagine reversing the reversey would just put him back to his base form, and now his base form is no left hand. The exchange for some measure of thy lifespan, thou wilt receive an undying body and uncanny strength. I think that there needs to be some sense of royalty and regalness to all of this. So it's like Dory and Brogy are becoming the kings, so they're getting turned into this. I mean, yeah, you have the other guys, but that's like, you could say that they're the regents, but you know, it just highlights that for Gunko to receive this as well, like they must have been tied to the country that Brook was from, you know, and have been like the princess there. I don't know, it's crazy to me that Emu really was just like Thanos and was just like, fine, I'll do it myself. And just showed up and did all of this. It's like, why now, though? Why now? I want to know. That's what I want to know. I want to know why now. Barry said, and I know, Randy, you talked yourself out of it right when I hit send. Sanji gets reversied into what he hated. Germa Sanji becomes Bully Maguire. That's great, Brandon. I mean, I would get upset, though. Chin said it'd be awesome if Brook's music could free Gunko from Imu's control, thus also undo all of Imu's contract on the Giants. That's interesting. At which point, then I would say that Brook would be the forest god, taming everybody. But I do like this idea that Robin could be Will Dory lose a foot to have them be like the Mink Dukes? I don't want a complete retread of that, but, you know, we'll see. Volgazard said it'd be metal if one of them pulls the sword from Jalro's head and uses it to lop his head off. I mean, if this was Game of Thrones or something, I'd be like, yeah, let's go, you know, or a different show. I'm like, this is One Piece. I mean, that still would be great, though. You know, like, I mean, that's a solid thought. It's a very solid thought. I'm on board for that. Justin said, I love that not one person saw this coming. Like, sure, Imu clearly had influence on Gunko, but to pull out the literal strap and start asserting dominance, find me the oracle that called that. That's what I said. That's why I said that, like, in the beginning. I was like, I love this. Like, we could have had any number of hours to talk about predictions for this, and I can't imagine anybody would have said, like, oh, Imu's going to whammy, like, Dory and Brogy to the point where eventually they are going to be, like, the main antagonists of Elbaf. Huck Ottenmouth King said we need a God Valley movie. I don't think so. I feel like that's something that got traction on Twitter or Reddit or something, and it's just never died down. We need a God Valley flashback in canon. No one should ever get information that will dictate, like, endgame story materials from something alternative to the actual source material. One second, guys. I'll be right back. Ian Vargas said, could the Cross Guild be responsible for what's going on in the Holy Land being up in flames? That's best case scenario. Like, everybody thinks it's Blackbeard, but it's actually the Cross Guild. That's awesome. That I love. Because it, like, really sets them up as, like, top tier. Is it possible? Was it likely? Not really. Next chapter predictions. I mean, Oda has not been showing us Luffy, and I really thought it was going to be this chapter, so it's got to be the next one. Now that like all of this damage is going on, it's got to be like Chopper catching the other people up to speed while healing Scopper, and then Scopper trying to like warn them of what's happening, but Luffy rushing into the danger without the warning or something. We didn't see the Holy Land burning, and if we didn't see it this chapter, I don't think we're going to see it next chapter. I think we're just going to get a flashback to it later, after we get, you know, like, I don't know, maybe we see it in a newspaper. Obviously, Oda's saying that it's not time to know exactly what happened, but we've done enough with everybody else to where, like, it's time for the monster trio to pull up, and probably with Loki in tow. And I wonder what Imu would do knowing Loki is there helping them. Would Imu reverse Loki? And that would be like a really dangerous thing. Or, you know, does Loki like really become an ally and help them like take on these giants, which is kind of interesting also. So I don't know, but is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about? Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Brandon said, "Do you think Loki comes in to fight the demon giants alongside Luffy?" I think that there's a cause for that. I think I've always said that I feel like Loki's like kind of a misdirect, and even though he's not technically a good guy, I think he'll be some sort of an ally in this fight, like an anti-hero. And I don't know enough about Loki to want him to be reversied yet. I'd rather like let him give us exposition. I think it would be cheap if Loki got reversied so fast after knowing him. I think it's like Loki's got to prove that he can help. Nobody destroys Elbaf but me. That's what Mr. Nine said. I like that. Huck said, Monster Trio taking on the God Knights now would be interesting, but I think the other crew members need to step up besides for once fight the strong foes. While I completely agree with you, with my whole body, I agree with you. I don't think Oda will do that. It would be, I don't know, I'm I'm glad that Chopper's at least like gonna do some doctoring, and I like that Robin is trying to free herself. But at this point, like, there needs to be someone that shows up to get them out of the bind they're in before they can even do anything to try and help. And unless that's Frankie, like, I mean, are we really gonna snake way this and we're gonna have Frankie get involved in all of this before everybody shows up? Which in that case, does Frankie get reversied? Like is he the one that does? And Ripley. I don't know, guys. I'm worried about Frankie. I want a clutch Frankie moment, but the fact that he has never embraced anything demonic and the rest of the crew has me worried that he would be the one that would get reversied. Volkazard said, "Oh no, now I'm worried about Ripley turning." Yeah, I think I talked myself out of the monster trio getting there next chapter, and I think that Ripley and Frankie get there. And if Bonnie is with them, maybe Bonnie goes into her Gear 5 form, confuses Emu, like the first Gear 5 that Emu sees is actually Bonnie and not Luffy. That could be interesting, because then we could, maybe get some lore that, like some sort of an explanation into, or like look into what Gear 5 is. Yeah. All right. So I think if I was... All right, here's fan fiction time, right? So Ripley and Frankie and Bonnie show up. Frankie does something that frees the rest of the gang and has some sort of big moment, but then gets reversied along with Ripley, but not Bonnie. Now the crew has to fight a reversied Frankie. And meanwhile, what's her name? Why is her name escaping me? The Vegapunk. Why can't I remember her name? Lilith. Lilith is heading to the tree to save the books. Robin either goes to help, like, save as many books as possible, or gets roped up into trying to stop Frankie, which... you know what? Oh, that's actually... Oh, okay, so now that I'm talking about this, right? If Robin is the forest god, and the forest god is the one that's able to tame everybody, right? What if it's Robin's will, and, like, she, like, fully embraces becoming the forest god, remembering back to, like, Frankie saying it's not a crime to exist, like, all this stuff, like, the crew thinks Frankie's dead, basically, but Robin is able to tap into something that tames Frankie and brings back, and then they know, like, oh wait, Robin is actually the key to doing some of this. And then maybe they learn also that Brooke has some sort of ability to maneuver this. And I would like to, this is a way to like keep the onus on this part of the crew, keeping the monster trio out, like let them discover something that they can then share with these guys before things get too crazy. Exactly, Volkazar. Robin getting another excuse to grab Frankie's nuts is like is exactly. But it would sort of like evoke that. Bonnie going Gear 5 would then distract Gunko Emu until eventually the monster trio is able to show up and like make something, make everything seem a little easier. DM Fuerte said Terminator Frankie would be cool. Has to happen. I mean, yeah. Mr. Nine, I think the Forest God has to be a Devil Fruit user, not just a regular guy. Very motivated. Said Mom helps Dad with the demonic possession. Well, what I'd like about that, even though I love Frankie and I wouldn't want him to ever be in a situation where he would die, right? But also, his wanted poster is the Sunny, right? So if his lifespan got taken enough to where Lilith then later had to transfer his consciousness into the Sunny, then we would get an explanation for why his bounty poster is that. And it would just make it like real, like that's eventually he is the Sunny. He becomes the Ship of Dreams, and he is able to actually live out his dream by being the ship that gets to the end. There's a catharsis there, even though it's, sad. But also it's like if Frankie turns and then Robin is able to turn him back, here's the person who fully embraced their demonic form going up against someone who was forcibly turned demonic. But in order to get them back, Robin has to look inside them to find their light, to give that light to somebody else. Which is like character growth for her, because I don't need to explain her whole journey to get to a moment like that, feeling like, oh wow, like this is what her whole character's been building towards. So Barry said it's cool, but it makes me very sad. Yeah, I know, but I want us all to feel things. Saeed said, did chat tell you about Luffy's last line in 1124? They did not. And I don't specifically remember myself. Barry said, I'm an air sign. I'm allergic to feeling things. You say that, but you're a One Piece fan. It's... You can't be a One Piece fan and be allergic to feeling things. There's just too many feeling moments. Could someone tell me the last line of Luffy's in 11? I guess I'll just look it up. And then with that, I'm gonna wrap. Oh, man. Vegapunk said that whoever finds the One Piece will run the whole world. That's the reason I went to the sea. I don't care if you guys end up as my enemies. You know it's gonna be me in the end. But the crazy thing is that the panel is not only just Dory, Brogy, Oimo, and Kashi. It's the crew. See, now I feel like if I did a reread, right, with like certain context of things, like I would have never said that Emu was going to whammy these guys, but I would have said like, oh, Oda's telegraphing that like Dory and Brogy are going to have to be enemies at some point. Like the line is right there. And I wonder if when I did the live reaction to this chapter, if I even mentioned something like that. But I love that Oda was able to like this is like the exact type of chapter I want, where like I'm forgetting something that's being said like that, but it's bringing everything around. It's new, it's fresh. I like this development. It's a good development for Elbaf. Volkazard said, "Oh God, Sabati 3.0. Only Luffy's not turned." Yeah, probably Bonnie too. I think Bonnie is safe because she found her own Nika form. You know. Mr. Nine said, "Remember Colors Trap Black?" Yeah, Betrayal Black. Yep. Another interesting thing to point out is that Lilith the actual story of Lilith. Lilith's like real life story is backstory is like they were considered to be Adam's first wife, and then also a demon, a she demon or a queen of hell. So I think that out of anybody that's going to get reversied, it's got to be Lilith. You know, which is why you have like Darkstalkers, right? Marvel versus Capcom. Lilith, right? Wings, vampiric form. I think Lilith is going to get turned. That I'm going to put at 100% at some point. Lilith is already supposed to be evil, per Vegapunk said DM Fuerte. Yeah. Lilith's going to get reversied. So maybe Frankie doesn't, but Lilith does. Or maybe that's like, or maybe that's the thing that Oda, you know, if we're paying attention, Oda would expect us to think that Lilith's gonna get turned, and then they never turn evil. They just remain good, even though they're considered evil. I don't know, but I would say right now that Lilith's got a high chance of getting reversied. Why reverse Lilith when they have York? It's going to come down to whether Oda is going to be able to like stop himself from feeding into the mythology of Lilith in the real world. Like I don't know. Wild Canyon said, yeah, Lilith didn't want to obey her husband Adam, and she was turned into a demon after speaking the true name of God. So Lilith will speak to things that Vegapunk knows that no one else knows about Nika or something like that, and then they'll get reversied for speaking out. Scary Imagination, Huck said, reversey Shanks. We have it. It's Shamrock. I don't need that. Did I like the chapter? Yeah. Let's keep going. So, but I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Thanks so much. We'll be back next Sunday for 11:51. And I hope everybody enjoyed everything at Tadum. Drop those choppers in the chat. And then see you guys next week. I like that, Brandon. Lilith becomes the one to speak the name of Emu to the world. And then now that we have a community leaderboard now, it shows us the top 50. Like, this is crazy. But yeah, so out of this stream, Neon Roger is number 1. Merrick is number 2. Chin is 3. Volgazard is 4. Barry is 5. 6 is Kip. 7 Saeed. 8 is Jamil. 9 is Green Tornado X. 10 is Brandon King. And then it just keeps going. That's, I don't know what made them think that we needed that. But that's Big Stinky said, Captain, don't go, keep cooking. I'll be back. I'll be back. See you guys soon. All right. Later, everybody.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.